7 months ago, I made this video and told you guys all about how we lost a calf due to miscarriage. And then we had something kind of crazy happen this spring. So unbelievably, even though Juneberry definitely had a miscarriage, she still went on to have a healthy calf. So I did some research and I discovered that this is actually a possibility. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what happened and kind of what our concerns are for her current calf that she has, and sort of just things you should know if this crazy phenomenon happens to you. So miscarriage in cattle, like I covered in this video, I cover really thoroughly all about miscarriage, what to do, what to look for, causes and things. So I'm not going to go into that too deeply in this video. I'm just going to tell you kind of about our strange situation we had. So if you go back and watch that video, we absolutely had a miscarriage. There's some very clear signs of it. Our other heifer was less bred, and the signs of miscarriage we were seeing led us to believe that it would have been Juneberry, who was about 3.5, 4 months along at the time, had miscarried her calf. And so it was a bummer. We were planning, okay, now we're not going to have a calf until the heifer has her calf, you know, in late August. We were not expecting to have a calf, you know, this summer. So we're like, okay, well, I guess we'll just have kind of a free and loose summer, not tied down by cows, which is kind of nice sometimes. And then, yeah, we were looking at Juneberry, and my husband kept asking, are you sure she's not pregnant? She's just huge. And I'm kind of, you know, looking at her myself and going, yeah. I mean, she's a bigger cow in general, but she was just really big. And so then I started paying attention to her udder, and I actually took this picture the day before the calf was born, because she wasn't like bagging up a huge amount, which in the past she has gotten really big, you know, taut teats, really full udder. And so that's usually a clear sign that a calf is coming. But so I just because your mind starts to play tricks on you, think, is her udder getting bigger? Is it not? So I took a picture about a week before the calf was born. I took this picture again, right, the day before the calf was born. And then one afternoon I looked out, because I was kind of keeping a closer eye on her, you know, during that time. I looked out one afternoon and there was this beautiful little heifer calf standing next to her. And so I was shocked. My husband was shocked. My veterinarian was shocked because she clearly had had a miscarriage. So I did a little research, and it turns out that it is entirely possible, though not very common, that a cow will slip a twin, lose a twin, and keep the other one for a full-term pregnancy. So it happens in about 11%. There's like 11% chance of it happening. So if your cow's pregnant with twins, it's going to have a miscarriage. 11% of the time, this can happen where one is lost and the other one goes to full term. So that's basically what happened, because we did have the vet out here recently, and he confirmed that our 2-year-old heifer is bred. She's due in about a month. So and like I said, the signs that we saw, I was checking in with another kind of dairy friend of mine. She's like, yes, that looks very consistent. 3-4 month, you know, miscarriage. I'm so sorry. So yeah, we treated it as such. And lo and behold, we have this beautiful little heifer who we have named Bessie. She looks a little bit rough here because we just had her disbudded about a week and a half ago. One of my least favorite things to do on the farm. But so she just had that done. But so Bessie is alive and well and doing great. Now, the only concern we have, however, is the risk of free martinism. So now a free martin happens when you have a male and a female twin in utero, and basically the hormones from the male can cross from the placenta if they have a shared one, or even if they don't, the hormones can cross over, and then basically they're called masculinizing hormones. So you can have a female that's kind of something of like a hermaphrodite, where she has some female anatomy, like she may have a vulva, but her internal anatomy, her vagina, her uterus, ovaries, all those things are not going to form correctly. And typically on the outside, things are just kind of a little bit, you know, really small or kind of weird looking or not there at all. And so Bessie, she definitely has bits from the outside. And so I'm looking at them and I'm like, is that? Because one of the signs is that it's such weird stuff to talk about, but the vulva can be particularly hairy. And so I was looking like, is that an extra hairy vulva? I don't think so, maybe. And so when I had my vet out, he was doing a workup. He was helping me get some magnets in the cows and doing a preg check. And so we also did just kind of a very sort of, you know, old vet version of checking for free martinism, where after she was sedated and kind of knocked out from having her horns done, poor thing, or her, not horns, but, you know, being disbudded, he took a test tube that he had, lubricated it lightly, and inserted it into her vulva to see how far in it went. And based on what he was seeing, the depth that it was going, he said that if she was a free martin, that he would expect it wouldn't go in that far because the things just wouldn't be there for it to continue on. However, that's just sort of a, you know, he would be pretty fair, you know, or fairly certain in saying she's not a free martin, but there's still that risk. So to find out if she is a free martin, which I'm really hoping she's not, I will have to send in to do a DNA test. And so I am sending in to check the A2A2 status, and certain labs can also test for free martinism via the hair sample as well. So I will be testing for that here in the next couple of weeks. Poor Bessie is not trusting me very much right now because I've had to put a spray on her horns to keep it from getting infected or getting screwworms in there. So I really hate right now to just all of a sudden pull out some of her tail. She'll never trust me again. So, or do a blood sample, anything like that. I want to just be as nice to her as possible to kind of build back that trust, poor thing. So I will test for that. Now, even though she had a twin, if it was a female twin, this isn't even a risk at all, but we'll never know. If it was a male twin, if the miscarriage happens early enough, I think it's before the first 40 days, then there is no chance of free martinism because there wasn't enough sort of time for things to happen. But in this case, the miscarriage of the twin happened late enough in pregnancy that she would have gotten enough of those hormones that she would be potentially a free martin. So that's the only concern we have that we're going to check and follow up on. But otherwise, June had a very uneventful labor delivery. I missed it entirely, which is a bummer, but some very uneventful labor delivery. The calf has been very healthy and robust. Juneberry hasn't had any issues at all. She's 10 now, so it's pretty exciting that she, you know, calved without incident. We did do a calcium supplement just to be on the safe side for milk fever because she is a little bit of a chunky girl, and she is a Jersey, and she is getting to be a senior cow. So just kind of as a preventative measure, we did do that with her. But otherwise, so we will be doing that A2A2 testing / free martin testing on Bessie. And other than that, we're good to go. So just so you are aware, if your cow has a miscarriage, well, also, I didn't ever notice her come back into heat, I should say, which is like, you would think that would be a clear indicator. But honestly, I was, if you watched my previous video, you know, I am actually currently expecting. And so the miscarriage happened in December, which is when we also got pregnant, and I was super sick immediately. And so I honestly didn't care if she was coming back into heat or not. I had no energy. I was like, well, deal with getting her pregnant later. She had a miscarriage. I'm not even watching for heat or paying attention. And then it was just kind of right around the time when we started looking at her sideways that I was paid attention and didn't notice any heats. So it was it was just absolutely crazy. So I could have had her preg checked, I suppose, but just, it was just not even in the realm of possibility. I didn't think that this was something that could happen. So anyway, happy story, happy ending here. Hopefully we'll double check the free martin thing. But so yeah, sometimes they can still have a calf after miscarriage. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to post some of my other cow videos here that you might like if you like this video. Otherwise, we will see you here next week for more from our rough and tumble farmhouse.